Everyone, welcome to our first video class for Group Piano 3. So our class takes place in two parts. We have our weekly live class via Zoom altogether, where we will kind of go over everything that doesn't require actual practicing at the piano. So going over all of the little steps, marking music, going over fingerings, music theory types of things, other activities like that, and working with your any type of group work, questions, housekeeping stuff, all that good stuff. And then every week you will get a video. This is the video, going over the content that you have in the unit that we study that week and the content that you'll turn in for your weekly video assignment. So I'll be taking you through all the materials and I'll be demonstrating different things in your book and then also going over the practice steps that you should take while you're doing that. So this video is designed to be something that you watch and that you pause and practice throughout. So you're not really supposed to complete it just along with me, you know. It's something for you to get an idea of kind of to guide your practice and to guide what you're going to work on. And so I'll be demonstrating everything, which is, helpful. You can listen to it first, kind of know what the goals are, know what the practice steps should be, and then practice things on your own. And I'll be demonstrating different elements each week. If we have 3 or 4 sight reading exercises, I'll go through one of them in depth and you can replicate those steps for the other ones. If we have 3 or 4 harmonizations, same thing. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. I would definitely recommend that you maybe complete this video in multiple days throughout the week. So watch one portion in practice, then watch the next portion in practice, just whatever works best for you. But make sure that when you're doing the video that you are being very conscientious about, just simple things, playing the correct notes, using the correct rhythms, but also using the correct fingers. And that's something that, I can't really correct even when we're in class in person, because there's usually too many people for me to go around and notice if everybody's using finger 4 in the correct place. But that's something that's really, really important for you to do and be mindful of, is using correct finger numbers throughout. And if you're able to be really diligent about those things while you're working through these videos on your own, you'll be super successful this semester. So we're going to go ahead and jump in talking about your weekly assignments this week, and we're going to look at your technique assignment, and that is your major and minor chord progressions, the 1-4-1-5-1, hands together, and we're going to do it in our parallel major and minor keys. So we're going to do it in C major, then C minor, then G major, and then G minor. So let's just do a really quick review on those chord progressions. So our chord progression is we play our 1 chord, then fingers 3 and 5 go up to play our 4-6-4 chord, then back down, then thumb reaches down, and we play 4 and 5 together on top, back to 1. So the notes should be C, E, G, C, F, A, C, E, G, B, F, G, C, E, G. So that's what we have going on there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to play that just major chord progression, the exact same thing that we just did, and then we're going to play it in the parallel minor key. So let's just go over really quickly what the changes are going to be in the minor key. So what you really just want to think about is the key signature of your parallel minor. So if we're in C major, which has no sharps, no flats, when we go to C minor, we have B flats, E flats, and A flats. So whenever we play any of those notes, we are going to play the flat, except for in the minor, we do harmonic minor chord progression. So that means that we're going to play B natural. We're going to keep the raised 7th. So basically in C major, or in C minor, for example, we're going to have our C, E flat, G, C, F, A flat, C, E flat, G, then B natural, F, G, back to C, E flat, G. So it's actually pretty straightforward, because it just means that the 1 chord and the 4 chord are going to have the flat 3, the flat 6, but the 5-7 chord is going to remain the exact same. It's going to be the exact same as the major key. So here's how this is going to go in C major. This is what you're going to prepare. Ready, go. 1, 4, 5, 7, 1. Now you're going to go down to minor. So finger 3 should go to E flat. 1. Up to A flat with 5. 1. 5, 7 stays the same. Back to 1. Perfect. So that's it. So you're going to do that for C, and we're also going to do it for G. I'll just go ahead and demonstrate that. Remember that G major is going to be pretty much the exact same as C, except we have that F sharp on our 5-staff chord. So we've got 1, 4, 1, then thumb goes down to F sharp, then back to 1. Now finger 3 is going to come down to B flat to do this in the minor, and then we're going to also have the E flats in the 4 chord. 1, 4, 1, 5, 7 chord remains the same. F sharp in the bottom, back to 1. And that's it. That's all you have to do for your technique activities for this week. Then we have a couple more things coming out of our unit. So let's go ahead and jump right into our book. And we're going to start by looking at Unit 1 and looking at page 10, which is going over our chord types, our major, minor, augmented, and diminished chords. So the best way to think about this is to think about your major as your sort of neutral starting point, okay? So 1, 3, 5. Then for the augmented chord, our 5 gets raised. So we would be on C, E, G sharp. Then back to major, 5 goes down. Then to turn it into minor, finger 3 is going to go down. 3 is going to be E flat. Then to become diminished, 5 is going to go down also. And we covered these things last year, but we're just doing a little bit of review. So let's go ahead and do that chord progression. The major, augmented, major, minor, diminished. So let's go ahead and give it a try. And we're going to go through number 1, and so we'll go through a few keys of this, our sharp keys. So here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Major, 5 goes up to augmented, 5 goes back down to major, 3 goes down, makes it minor, 5 goes down to diminished. Now up to G, major, finger 5 goes up, augmented, then it goes back down to major, then finger 3 goes down to minor, finger 5 goes down, diminished, and now to D. D, finger 5 goes up, augmented, then it comes back down to major, finger 3 goes down to minor, finger 5 goes down, diminished. Now on A, finger 5 goes up, augmented, then it goes back down to major, finger 3 goes down to minor, finger 5 goes down, diminished. Now on to E, major, finger 5 goes up, augmented, then it comes back down to major, finger 3 goes down to minor, finger 5 goes down, diminished. Couple more. B, finger 5 goes up, augmented, then it comes back down to major, finger 3 goes down to minor, then finger 5 goes down, diminished. Now F sharp, so all black keys to start with. Major, finger 5 goes up to augmented, then it comes back down to major, finger 3 goes down to minor, finger 5 goes down, diminished. Now lastly, C sharp. Remember, you've got the E sharp in the middle, okay? Finger 5 goes up, augments it, then it comes back down to major. Finger 3 goes down to minor. Finger 5 goes down diminished. Beautiful. So that is going through all of our sharp keys. Then number 2 on the bottom is going through all the flat keys. So go ahead and pause and practice doing that exact same progression on all of our flat key signatures. And if you can do that, your fingers will be warmed up. You should be ready to go to practice the rest of our activities. So we're going to go ahead and quickly look over at page 12 and 13, which give us our tetrachords for the major and minor scales. So again, we've been working on scales last year, should be pretty familiar, but just a little review. A great way to practice reviewing your scales is to practice them in the tetrachord position, which is where you play 4 notes with each hand. So we would go, like with C, you would play left hand on C, D, E, F, right hand, G, A, B, C, C, B, A, G, left hand F, E, D, C. So that's just a really great way to practice your scales. You can do that with all of your major scales, practicing in them in that tetrachord position to help just review the actual note names, to make sure that you're doing the correct pitches. That is a really great practice step for you to take. So any scales that you feel that you're not sure if you remember the pitches exactly, go ahead and practice them in the tetrachord position. Then same thing over on page 13, we have the tetrachords for the minor scales. So we're going to do the A natural minor first, which would put our left hand on A, B, C, D, right hand E, F, G, A, G, F, E, left hand D, C, B, A. Perfect. And then we're going to try the harmonic minor scale. So again, this is just a great way to just review these pitches and these scale structures. So for the harmonic minor scale, remember that 7 is going to be raised a half step. So just 7. So we would have F, G sharp, A at the top. F, G sharp, A will be the last couple of pitches of this one. So left hand starts with A, B, C, D, right hand E, F, G sharp, A, G sharp, F, E, left hand D, C, B, A. So you've got a pretty big gap between that F and G sharp there. Then we're going to try the melodic minor scale. So on the way up, the 6th and 7th are raised. On the way down, they're both lowered. So on the way up, the top half is like a major scale. You know, it's like the last few notes are the same way that we would do it in a major scale. And then on the way down, it's just like the natural minor scale. So on the way up, we're going to have left hand starting with A, B, C, D, right hand E, F sharp, G sharp, A, G natural, F natural, E, left hand D, C, B, A. So go ahead and practice these tetrachord positions to just review the different structures of minor scales and also to go over any of the minor scales where, again, like the other ones, if you're feeling like I'm not exactly clear on what the pitches are on these scales, this would be a great thing for you to go over and practice. So then we'll skip right over and look at page 15. Page 14 has your C major and C harmonic minor scales. And if I remember correctly, so the C major and harmonic minor scales here are going to be part of your technique activities for next week. So if you want to go ahead and just give a little bit of practice on those, that would be great, but you won't have those due until next week. And then on page 15, we have our triads of the key exercise. So basically where we're building a chord, 3 notes, on each scale degree. So on the first scale degree, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, back to 1. okay? And you can do that on any key. You just have to make sure that you're maintaining the correct sharps and flats in the key. So if you're going to do it on G, for example, I would start with G, D, G, B, D, A, C, E, B, D, F sharp, C, E, G, D, F sharp, A, E, G, B, F sharp, A, C, G, B, D. So same thing if you wanted to try it in any other keys, you just have to incorporate the sharps and flats that are part of that key. You can also do it with your harmonic minors down at the bottom here. So if I build it on my A harmonic minor scale, I'm going to start on A, C, E, B, D, F, C, E, G sharp, D, F, A, E, G sharp, B, F, A, C, G sharp, B, D, A, C, E. So go ahead and go through that page also and practice those triads of the key on, I would do the keys that they suggest, doing the major ones on G, D, and B flat major, and then the harmonic minors on E, B, and G harmonic minor. And that'll get you really nicely warmed up for the structures of those scales and chords. So let's go ahead and take a look at page 16 and 17. And over here we have a really nice review of our major and minor intervals. So on the each line goes over all of the different forms of intervals, right? So the most important thing to remember with the intervals is that you call it, the number is what it looks like. So if it's a C and a D, it's a second, right? So even if you have C and D sharp, okay, think about the end harmonic, like what D sharp is also E flat, okay? We don't call it a minor third if it's written as C and D sharp. We call it an augmented second because it's written like a second. If you just cover up the accidentals, you just cover with your finger that, you can look at that and see, okay, that's a second right there. It doesn't matter what sharps, it could have a double sharp, and we would call it like a double augmented, I guess, maybe. So that's what you call it, right? You call it based on what does the actual the pitches without the accidentals or anything. What does that look like? That's the number that you use. And then the sharps or flats determine, is it a major, minor, augmented, or diminished interval? Okay, so for our intervals over here, notice that we don't have a diminished second because that wouldn't make any sense. That would just be a unison. So we have the major second, augmented second, major second, minor second, major second. And then you're going to try that exact same thing with your left hand. Major second up to D sharp, augmented second, back to major second, down to minor second, back to major second. Then you're going to do the same thing, starting with right hand on our major third. Third, 3 goes up, augmented third, 3 goes back down, major third, then it goes to flat, minor third, then it goes back down again to a diminished third, then back to a major third, minor third, and back to a major third. And then you do the same thing with the left hand. Major third, 3 goes up, augmented third, comes back down for major third, 3 goes to flat, minor third, then down again to diminished third, then back up to minor third, and then back up to major third. And you're going to do the exact same thing with your 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and octave. So notice that with your 4ths and 5ths, we don't have major and minor. We just have the perfect 5th because it's perfect 5th and perfect 4th. And so we have augmented and diminished, but we don't have a minor interval or major. We just call that the perfect 5th, then the augmented and diminished versions there. Same thing with the octave. So just keep that in mind that those are going to be a little bit different. So go ahead and go through and practice all of those intervals. And you can even try starting those on like different root notes. It doesn't really make that big of a difference when you're going through, but you can absolutely do that. And then you can also do at the top of page 16 the melodic interval with just the major and perfect intervals, just if you need to warm up with that. So go through and practice the remainder of those. And then we are going to go ahead and look at our solo rep for this week, page 18 and 19. And we are just going to call this one earrings because the word that they have there, that is an offensive term to groups of nomadic peoples with an Eastern European origin. This book was written a little while ago, not long enough ago for this to still be a cool name to put in the book, but hopefully they will change that as they come out with new editions of this book, because again, that's not a very appropriate name and that could be very offensive to some people. So we are going to just call this one earrings, or person of Eastern European nomadic origin earrings. Okay, so with this one, in class, we went over the chord structure of this, because if you kind of just map out the different chords and key areas that are being outlined, this one is really pretty straightforward. The other thing to map out and be careful of as you're practicing is on the first page, one thing that you could do would be to go in and circle where your left and right hand play, because we have a lot of going back and forth. We have a lot of going back and forth between the right and left hand. Because of that, I would play probably the first page, do a majority of your practice hands together, but just really, really slowly, because it's a lot of right hand playing, then left hand, then right hand, then left hand, and not a lot of playing at the exact same time. Page 2, I would practice hands separately. So I would start by playing just that left hand melody out loud, and then adding the right hand part and practicing the right hand part separately. Notice that on this page, what is happening with the right hand here? What's going on with the right hand? It's really just our A harmonic minor chord progression. So if you can do that, you can do the right hand part of the second page super easily. Remember also, note that we have our da capo al coda. So we're gonna go back to the beginning, and then on the second time through the first page, we go to the coda, which is the bottom line on the second page. So I would go through and also maybe tap this rhythm out loud, and we're just going to go through the first little bit. The second page is very straightforward, but that first page, here's how the rhythm is going to go. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, left hand 3, 4. Okay, the other thing to just note right here in the beginning also is the ties that you have in the parts as you're building these chord up. That looks more complicated than it actually is. It just means that you're going to hold each note as you press it down. So if we have that A, E, A, C, E, notice that as I just play each note going up, I'm just holding it down. So I start with the A, keep it holding while I play the C, keep it holding while I play the A, keep it holding while I play the C. So when I get to the top, I'm just holding all that out. Pretty straightforward. So once you go through all those practice steps, you could absolutely go through and take certain sections and say the note names out loud while you play, or say the chord names out loud while you play. That would be really helpful. I'll go ahead and demonstrate this one all the way through from the beginning so that you can hear how this will sound all put together. 1, 2, ready, go. Low A at the end of that page. And Dakota. There you go. Excellent job. With this last section also, as we're moving through, like we go to almost the top note on the piano and the very bottom note on the piano. If you are playing on a keyboard that doesn't have that top or bottom octave, that's just fine. Not a problem at all. Just take away the octave sign and just play it to the highest notes that you have, and that will work just perfectly. So that's what we've got for that one. So go ahead and practice that one through a few times. This one will be an option for the exam rep. So each exam you'll get options of the repertoire that we've played in the previous units. So you want to practice this one through just that way in case you want to choose this one for the exam. So let's go ahead and take a look at our sight reading exercises on page 20 and 21. So we have 3 different exercises right here. And for these this week, there's no transposition for the reading exercises. As we go through some of the reading exercises, we'll have a transposition for you to do. So what I'm going to do is what you want to practice for these is to go through and tap through the rhythm if you need to. Most of these this week are really straightforward, but you know, occasionally we'll have one that has a little bit more of a complex rhythm. So you want to go through and just tap through the rhythms first, then play hands separately. And you can count out loud, which is what they suggest, but I think that actually saying the finger numbers out loud is really helpful. So even in the beginning here with that first one where we have multiple notes at the same time, 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5, 2, 4, 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, 4, 2, 1, 3, 4, 2, 5, 3, 4, 2, 4, 3, 2. You can easily do just like that, saying the finger numbers out loud, or just saying the top finger number, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3. Totally works to do that. And then go ahead and try playing both hands together. You can count out loud, you can say finger numbers out loud, you can say certain note names out loud, whatever you feel like is helpful for you. And then make sure that the first time you play it hands together, you're playing it really, really slowly. And then you'll try it hands together at a little bit of a quicker tempo. So let's go ahead, and I'm just going to demonstrate the 3 of these for you. And I'm going to say some of the finger numbers out loud as I go, as well as cueing some other things, but just demonstrating these so you know what it's going to sound like put all together, and then you can practice them, and you will choose one of these to submit for your video assignment this week. So one of the 3 you will choose to actually turn in on your video and submit, but do practice all of them. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5, 4, 2, 1, 3, left hand, 3, 5, 4, 2, 1, 3, 4, 2, 5, So the right hand in that one stays in a 5-finger position the whole time, and your left hand jumps around a little bit more. So just something to keep in mind there. Then let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. This one has a much easier left hand part because for the first 7 measures, we only play one note. We just play that A, and then the very last part, we jump down and play that broken minor chord there at the bottom. But this one is definitely a little bit more heavy on the left hand. So here we go, and I'll say our finger numbers out loud. 1, ready, go. 1, 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. Left hand. 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. Left. 1, 2, 5, 2, 1. Left. 1, 2, 5, 2, 1. Back down. 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, 1, 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, leap down, 2, 3, 5, 3, 2, 1, 5, 3, 1, 5. Beautiful. And then here is number 3. Ready, go. 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 5, 1, 3, 2, 1. 1, 3, jump down, 5, 2, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 4, hold, same as the beginning. 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 5, 1, 3, 5, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, hold it. So this one's probably the one that's the most important to practice hands separately because we have a very similar level of notes in each hand. This one is really, really pretty. So I would definitely give this one more attention hands separately and then before you put it together. This one would also be a helpful one to kind of maybe outline what exactly the chords are. So in the beginning, first measure, we have just basically an F major chord, just with different notes placed. Then we have C, F, G minor, C, C, F, and then so on and so forth throughout that. So that's just something that you could find helpful to do to help you with that one. So let's go ahead and take a look at our harmonizations. So we have this first one on the bottom of 21, and then we have 2 more on page 22. Each of these include either the pop chord symbols, which is like the letter names symbols for the chords, or Roman numerals. And then each of these also prompts you to do it with the transposition. So for these, I'm just going to demonstrate the first one. I'll demonstrate I'm on my way on page 21 because that's kind of the longest and the most difficult. And I'm going to show you the procedure that I would use for each of these, how I would practice them. So what you're going to do is you're going to try the chords first, just your left hand alone in the original key, then just the right hand alone in the original key, then just the left hand transposed, then just the right hand transposed, then the hands together in the transposition. And you should definitely go ahead and give that a try for all 3 of them, and then you'll choose one to turn in for the video. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have for I'm on my way. The thing that I like to look at first of all is what chords do you have present. So we've got F, C7, G minor, F7, and B flat. And that's all that we've got. Now what I would also think about is what of these chords are in like my chord progression that would be really easy for me to invert. So when I look at the F and then I see the C7, I'm going to play my 5-7 as it is in the chord progression, right? Because that's the 5-7 chord that we have in the F chord progression. And the same thing when I see B flat, I'm going to play it as it comes in the chord progression. And that makes it a lot easier to go back and forth. Then I'm going to think about, well, what is going to be the easiest way for me to get to my G minor? So if I go F, C7, I would say that just doing that root position G minor would be pretty simple. You could probably go down to a second inversion. That would also work, but that's close by. What you don't want to do is go like F, C7, G minor, like why would you, waste all of that motion? That, wouldn't be super helpful. And then when I go my F, C7, F, then when I do F7, what I would do is put an E flat in the bass. So just actually extend my pinky down and play 5, 4, 2, 1 on E flat, F, A, C. That's what I would do for the F7 chord. You could also go up and go F, A, C, E flat with that on top. But since I'm just coming from that F chord and the previous chord is F, you can either just reach your pinky down to play the E flat or reach your thumb up to play the E flat. And that makes it super simple. So let's go ahead and go through and just play the chords. 1, 2, ready, go. F, 2, 3, 4. F, 2, 3, 4. C7, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3. G minor, 2, 3, 4. Quick change to C7, 2, 3, 4. Back to F, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. F7, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4 to B flat, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. F, 2, 3, quick to C7, 2, 3, and back to F. Great. Now here is the right hand part, and I'm going to say this with the finger numbers out loud. 1, 2, 3, ready, go. 1, 2, 1, 4, 2, 3, 4, tie. 5, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, rest. 1, 3, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, rest. 5, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, rest. 5, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, rest. 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 5, 4, 2, 3, 4, tie. Great. So one great thing to notice with the melody is this pattern that we have that comes through several times. This 5, 4, 5, 4, 3, 5, 3. And the repetition of certain patterns is going to make it a lot easier when you try to transpose this one. So let's go ahead and give it a try, both hands together, and I will call out the chord names. 1, 2, 3, ready, go. F, C7, G minor, C7, F, F7, 2, 3, B flat, 3, F, C7, F. Great. So let's go ahead and now go through this one in our transposition to B flat major. So we're just going to go through the chords first. So I'm going to think about these again. I'm going to think about my chord progression. So when I have F, that's going to become B flat. When I have my C7, that's going to become the F7 that's in my chord progression. And then when I have my B flat, that's going to become the E flat in my chord progression. So then the only other ones that I need to worry about are first would be the F7, which is going to become a B flat 7. So I'm going to need to just add an A flat to my chord somewhere to turn that from a B flat into a B flat 7. I can stretch my thumb up to add that A flat, or I can reach my pinky down to grab that A flat to turn that into a B flat 7 chord. And then the only other one that I need to worry about is my G minor. So if we're in the key of F, G minor would be my 2 chord. So what's the 2 chord in B flat? C minor. So pretty simple. So those are the things that I'm going to just note about that. You could very easily go ahead and just pencil some of those chords in, especially the ones that fall outside of our nice little neat chord progression. I might just pencil in like the G minor becomes C minor. That might be a little bit easier for you. So let's go ahead and give this one a try. Just the chords. 1, 2, ready, go. B flat, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. F7, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. C minor, 2, 3, 4. F7, 2, 3, 4. B flat, 2, 3, 4. B flat, 2, 3, 4. B flat 7, 2, 3, 4. B flat 7, 2, 3, 4. E flat 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. B flat 2, 3, 4. F7, 2, 3, 4. B flat. Great. So now we'll go ahead and do the melody. This is, I think, the trickiest part, to be honest, transposing it, just because when we're doing it in like it's a single 5-finger position, it makes it really simple. But when we're having to go around with kind of like leaps and all those things, it gets a little bit trickier. A couple things to make it easier are to just really focus on the intervals and the scale degrees. So if you are somebody with a choral background, thinking in terms of solfege can be really helpful. Even if you don't have a choral background, solfege can be really helpful. Focusing on the actual intervals instead of trying to do like a quick conversion. You know, just think about, okay, I need to go up a fourth, down a step, down a third, down a scale, you know, just like whatever it is. That makes it a lot easier. And then also using the consistent finger numbers. That is really, really important, is to actually use the same finger numbers that they suggest. So let's go ahead and give it a try in B flat, and I will give you the finger numbers. 1, 2, 3, ready, go. 1, 2, 1, 4, 2, 3, 4. Tie. 5, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. Rest. 1, 3, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Rest. 5, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. Rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Rest. 5, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. Rest. 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 1, 3, 5, 4, 2, 3, 4. Tie. Great. So again, just focusing on the intervals is really helpful. The other thing is to always be reading ahead, especially on the line breaks. Those are kind of the trickiest places, I think, when doing a transposition, is to get sort of tripped up, you know, thinking about, wait, gosh, where is this note in relation to what I've just played? So if you're really looking ahead, that'll make it a lot easier for you on there. So let's go ahead and give this one a try. Transposed both hands to B flat now. 1, 2, 3, ready, go. Perfect. So that one's tricky to do with both hands together on the transposition. So just make sure that you practice it several times hands separately until you feel really confident in doing with each hand alone before you try putting your hands together. So that is all we've got for today. And so next week we'll move on and we'll start looking at our unit 2. And as always, please just let me know if you have any questions or you need any help. And remember to turn in your videos on time, and feel free to record your videos in multiple parts. I think that's a really, really great idea, is to not put the pressure on yourself to get like the perfect take of everything in one sitting, but to kind of space it out and make sure that you're just, if you get your scale really great on Monday, record it then. And then if you get your sight reading really great on Wednesday, record that. And that just takes a lot of pressure off of having to kind of get everything right all in one day. So keep up the great work. Happy practicing, and I'll see you next time.